namely
Nice.
arson.
A way to play so dangerous. Fun stuff.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Since we've got to try and back to the head term, seasonality and all that kind of shit as well, I assume.
you know, yeah, maybe seasonality in the Midwest is different than it is, say.
Because I'll go back a year ago and look at what was going on, you know, in the
not so much that.
place.
Yeah.
But again, this is literally all like I track like the because you know what I mean. That market is really more about protecting your valuables. Things that are important to them are like fire ratings and shit like that. It's not really.
Do they do that offline about the thing that we might be getting into about?
Yeah, for sure. There's always.
Do they try to do local SEO?
No.
Outside of LA?
No.
Or even then?
No. Very we on our.
Voices ranking in Chicago, like right.
Yeah. Okay. So Authority Labs is one of the different. Had me wondering what the hell Google is up to. Is it a query, you know, classification issue? Is it authority thing? But I can't see authority because again, these guys and the number one guys are well known, you know.
So when you're talking about them dropping and everybody else dropping, are you talking about ranking or also about traffic?
Ranking. I can't tell what everyone else's traffic is, and you know, the only thing you look at is SEMrush or search metrics. I don't, and you know, rank combat that or.
I wouldn't go that far. And
in a variety of you know, areas in their service area that they want to search, and I use Bright Local for it, but same basic idea probably is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And over time we adjust those. I track it. I track an inexcusable number of terms, like 100 or so, just because I want to see how.
That's not inexcusable, dude. To me, inexcusable is when I meet guys in the industry that start talking thousands.
No.
You know, I hate
them anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Really believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
That if I've got their login, they're going to turn them instructions.
You know, like what's a good example?
There was something actually mean full.
The report it used to have add to all accounts, and I don't see that anymore.
Crazy.
So when I have pretty and yeah, the cohort report.
So anything.
I'm just not used to seeing numbers. If I do a good job, things might go up 10 or, you know.
Dude, I am a bomb SEO. Let's just call it what it is. I'm good at my job.
Because I'm not.
You need to have these answers, Ann. You got to have these answers.
Oh, come on now. You guys go ahead. I'll give you access to my analytics. You guys go tell me that I'm screwing up.
I'm not.
No. It's not. We're not putting you down. We're trying to help you so that
I have tough skin, man.
We want you to be able to do this next month and the next month after that. Because you know what happens in this kind of situation, that you could do a wonderful job for a 60, 90-day period, and then things flatline, and everyone's going to expect you to keep doing it. So you got to know how you did it.
I will tell you that the majority of people, a lot of all the automotive, all they're doing is regurgitating the same information with a modifier of location. So all of these big CMS systems and web hosting companies that dealers are using are just, they don't give a crap about what you are doing. What we're doing is integrating with service. So we have a list of like, what are the things that customers always ask? How to change a key fob. Let's do a video on that. How to install the mats. Let's do a video on that. Oh, right. By the way,
like I said, I've said it 1,000 times over the last 10 years that, your customer service department and your sales department are the greatest sources of content, because that's where questions that need to be answered are. That's where consumers are, that's where you're getting things you need to put out there. So I agree with that.
Well,
Oh,
and
Rob found a shirt. Yay! Rob found a shirt. Oh, very nice, sir. Cheers.
that's
Cheers.
funny.
Cheers. Oh, the nipples. Don't start with me, bro. I can't take that, man. It's too sexy.
Don't even worry.
Here you go, Rob, just for you. Woo, baby. There you go.
That's
Have
funny.
no fear, I is here.
Oh, that's the sound. Oliver traffic is tanking. That's it.
I'm like, what the hell is that? Emergency services? What the?
As an update,
Oh, Jesus. I did not. I just called 911 on my watch.
Really?
Oh no!
Yes, what can we do for you today? Fire or rescue? No, my rankings are tracking. What do I do? I don't believe we're choosing this number for that, yes.
Don't feel bad, Ann. I did that once for my watch too. They were very nice about it.
Okay. Here's my stuff.
Oh, God. All right.
You asked for
Dates, go up. I can't see the dates. I need dates here. Come on. 1 month. Okay. All right. Thank you.
No, it's not a month.
Well, it's roughly a month. It's the 27th to the 1st. Jesus, Steve, you're going to be like that? Fuck you.
It was July 27th, wasn't it?
Yeah, until August 1st. That's a month and 4 fucking days, man.
no, it's like a week.
No.
It's
Oh,
one
it's a
week.
week. Sorry.
It's 7
Everybody's
days.
dead. Fuck you, too.
He's from Canada. Give him a break.
Yeah, we do
Hey.
things differently up here, man. Well, so Steve, I can't get away with that one.
It's a week. There you go. Now it's a month.
All right.
Much better.
All goals. All right, so all goals.
Ann was
Okay, hold
talking
on.
about year over year.
All right, so all goals, 17.
Do you want me to get back to where we were? Or
No, that's good. Hold on. Yeah, because, that's massive numbers. So either you were sucking before or something weird is happening. Again, I don't know what your goals are, so it's hard for me to say, to be honest. But
So our goals are pretty simple.
all right, get a price, new and used, check availability, new and used, parts, contact service, contact us, better app, blue book. All right, cool. Yeah, I get the sense of it. All right, thank you.
I really don't know why it's going crazy like that.
Well, like I said,
Okay,
you should
I
dig
gotta-
into that, man. You're gonna have to, because someone might ask you along the line. And again, if this all like Doc kind of it, because if you don't replicate this 90 days from now, someone's gonna be up your ass. Like,
You guys want to watch something really funny?
Yes.
You know what I'm thinking? You know what I'm thinking there, Doc?
Hello?
You know what I mean? Like that becomes an issue if it's
Yes,
a
I know. I'm so sorry.
month.
I apologize.
911
Yeah, it was
called her
my
back.
watch.
Yeah, 911.
My watch. Thank you so much. I appreciate your service. Bye-bye.
Oh, good Lord.
See,
Have
I'm
you
here
s-
for the entertainment.
Have you seen my
that's awesome.
rankings, Mr. 911?
Dude, I'm looking at my rankings and my conversions. I'm about to have a heart attack. I'm just getting ahead of it. I'm just getting ahead of things here.
I wanted to just call in a fucking forest fire in my Excel right now.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah.
And we haven't even touched on porn directors yet.
Oh,
Yeah!
God.
Hello?
It's been a
Yes?
while. Yeah, no, don't even start. Ann has a favorite.
I heard my keyword.
That, Ann.
What?
Go back to that one. Your social was up 40%, but it only constitutes 2% of your traffic.
Yeah, but that's normal. That's in any half decent site that's running, SEO, PPC, everything else. That is fucking normal.
Right.
That isn't
But-
really that far off.
What I'm saying, it's easy to increase 40%.
Well, yeah. If you go from 2 visitors to fucking 4 visitors, that's a 100% increase. Right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we aren't talking about big numbers at all, but I am interested as to why the organic is going up 24%
Well,
last
you're
year.
supposed
over
to
this
know
year.
this stuff, honey. You're supposed to know this stuff.
No, I thought that if we just write normally, everything works out, right? If we just use the words and forget keywords, everything works out.
Like I said,
Oh, yeah.
like I said, in my world, forensics isn't just when things go bad. Forensics also when things go good, because you want to know so you replicate it. You got to be able to dig into everything and say, okay, why did this happen? So you know if you can replicate it.
So at a very high level, let's just say at a very high level without your forensic hat on, if I think of what I'm doing differently than I did last year, it is absolutely posting to social. That's it, at a very high level.
Yeah. So that generally doesn't explain conversions, because people attribution wise, people see stuff on social, they're still going to run over to Google and double check it. You know what I mean? You'll
we have a VIP.
You're still going to get more people. You know, they'll find you on social, but attribution on social, you know.
The other question to ask that I would ask with numbers like this is, what's Kia brought out? What is the national advertising campaign doing from the home company?
Yeah, but that's your direct traffic and stuff a lot of times. So.
It could be organic.
Yeah, it could be. No, I hear you.
Well,
have they got a sexy new car out?
Well, so here's something that you have to understand. Our
website
has a squeeze page.
I know we don't get exact data, but you still got to break that into navigation searches and stuff like that. So.
Dave, we have something called a VIP squeeze page. You can't get to our inventory unless you put in your information.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, I know for a fact our conversion rates go up about 10% when we do that. It annoys the hell out of the customer. Our bounce rates go up. But if you're shopping, we want to help you, you know?
But yeah, I would definitely talk to whoever, has the reins on you and tell them you want to spend some time figuring out why.
No problem.
I'll
do this stuff without after hours. I'm interested to figure out what I am doing that's making it happen, and if it really is social.
Now since I should go beyond social, you were just in Search Console. Go to landing pages for a sec.
You mean here?
Search Console. Yeah, go back.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Go to landing pages now. Compare, like throw it back and go up top and compare. Previous.
Winter is coming. This is
no. Go up and compare to last.
He wants you to change your dates.
No, just compare. Just drop it down and compare to the last period.
I'm really good at translating.
On the right, check.
Compare to previous period.
No, I know where it is, but what I don't like about last period is it's not Monday to Monday.
I don't really care. Yeah, that's not. I'm not getting that finite right now. Hold on.
Okay.
Relax. All right, so your home page is actually down. Okay.
So is my remote start.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Keep going. Keep scrolling.
Blog post.
Yeah, see?
Is the manufacturer perhaps
contact pages up?
Sharing a lot of your posts too, Ann?
No.
All right, scroll back up. Scroll back up for me for a second. Scroll back up. Keep going. Secondary dimension. Hey, source medium, why not? That's not going to show you much in Search Console, actually. Hold on. I don't think we'll get much of this.
All
organic.
organic.
That's not going to show you. No, you'd have to go to acquisition, all traffic or channels or something for that. No. It's not going to show you in Search Console for that. But anyways, yeah, okay. So that's one place I'd start digging around for sure.
Well, yeah, it's interesting to say the least. But anyway, I will dig more and continue to share with you all because, you don't know what you don't know. And
for sure.
And thank you for sharing it. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, I'd like to dig, and you get bored next week, hit me up and I'll dig around with you. Again,
I'll give access. I have no problem giving access to my dojo crew.
Hit me up and I'll go play around in there, because if you can identify what you did right, that's very important. You know what I mean? It's always important to know what you did right. So you can.
And I'm just going to say I'm not the best at the analytics game. I mean, I think I'm decent, but I don't make profiles when I probably should. I know that, Steve, you've been telling me to do that for days. So it is what it is.
There's definitely some shit on there. But I'd be curious because again, the risk is always that someone's going to, you don't want to go running off to your bosses going, look what I did. And then, 90 days from now, things start to fall off and they're like, well, where the fuck? We'll do it again. Like, I don't know how I did it. Sorry, I'd love to do it again, but I don't know how.
Let's be real clear here. I am the only report that I do every day is my SEM leads. They don't even care about organic. It is about when I get it, I want it now. They're very impatient, and you know, they'd be fine never seeing that report. I just like to dig there.
Oh, no, I live in there.
Yeah.
That's my whole world.
Cool.
I'm a data geek, and I just live in the data, you know.
Data dictates direction. One of my favorite sayings.
I was reading something this week, and it brought up about AI learning in Google, and it brought up a question in my mind. And I know rank brain is your favorite topic, David, but the idea that Google is creating user personas and reordering the SERP results based on the user persona that they have assigned to you. What do we think about that?
Well, obviously we're gonna have to let Bill deal with that, but I wouldn't even call it a persona per se. It's, in my mind at least, it's
a user profile.
Well, they'll call it search history or whatever, but it's demographic, it's temporal, meaning, you know, times of year, as well as, you know, search history stuff, as well as, I mean, I don't like persona, because persona is almost like a bucket, whereas I think they're trying to be more finite with that than that. I don't really think, to me, I wouldn't call it a persona. I don't know. Bill, you can play with that one.
So Google might create triples of data around certain queries, where they'll include stuff like what time of day it is, what other types of searches you've been performing, or so on. And they will build something like profiles. They will consider you similar to other people. They'll, when they're showing you search results, they'll have a pool of bias documents that are based upon search history. And they'll try to show you the union of biased documents and relevant documents for a query. It's not uncommon to do that. Thing I just wrote about was augmentation queries, where they're looking at the results for the original query term that you use and comparing them to results for augmentation queries, which are similar in some way, maybe things like synonyms. And they'll compare, they'll evaluate the two sets of search results to see which seems to be liked most by most people based on search history, which tends to get more clicks, more long clicks. Other user behavior might play into that. Now, I'm not sure I'd call that machine learning, but it's using data to make decisions.
Yeah. Well, speaking of analytics, you know, Steve, go and look at like affinity categories and stuff they have in the analytics for that. And those are kind of based upon other queries that set of people are making. You know what I mean?
Well, that's kind of where I was going at it. And I was wondering if anybody was using the similar interests parts of analytics to drive I don't know, social media posts or something to those areas?
I use them with the content teams for developing content, and I also use them with the social media teams as far as if they're doing Facebook advertising and things of those nature. I do actually look into those. Yeah.
And is that and where does cohort analysis come into that? Is it a group of?
No, that's a fair bit different.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah,
Cohorts are people you collude with, right?
Well, is it just people you colluded with, or is it people that you're just similar to?
If you're president, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Bill, you need to wave a flag when you make a joke.
That's funny.
No, that's not funny. That's Bill. You know, I'm surprised he's not British with that deadpan delivery. He'd fit in over there. But yeah, so the affinity categories and stuff like that, you'd have to look at. They're actually somewhat different, but I use them in my data studio reports and stuff. But yeah, generally where I tend to use those is with the social media teams and with the content development teams to get a sense of your demographic and what. So one is the type of products they transactionally go after, and one is the type of things they search for. Like it's one right beside it. Hold on a second. Let me pull it up here.
And you can look at places like Google Analytics to get a sense of.
Well, that's where you get the cohort analysis stuff. Affinity, yeah, it's affinity.
People who are performing impressions on things you tweet may have. What preferences they have.
So Dave, can you think of something off the top of your head, say for the safes? Have you done anything similar interests for your safe client?
Yeah, hold on a second. Just digging up, pulling up Google Analytics here. And yes, yeah, for sure. Like Doc does some copywriting with me and stuff. And when Doc works with me, I actually dig into this stuff and send it over to give him a sense of what's going on. Yeah. As far as demographics going. Hold on, everything's just lagging here because I'm hosting this fucking thing.
You need a better ISP.
I live in the fucking country, dude. I don't have choices.
Standard broadband's not up there, is it?
No, dude. No, down to 2,500 people. You only got the one thing. You know. I do not.
Because we use microwave links here for country, and that's what I'm on. It's quite good. Oh boy, what happened? Oh.
All right, so yeah, you've got affinity categories and you've got in-market segments. Okay, and that's the one that gets people's clients and shit all very confused because they look a lot the same. All right. Let me go get the actual definition here. Google Analytics difference between in the market. So essentially, in-market segments report is more of a transactional thing. Whereas the affinity is an interest thing, meaning what they're searching and stuff like that. And oddly enough, this is actually a report that comes out of AdWords. All right.
I'm in Google Data Studio, and the UX is. Or it's me. Could be me.
It takes a while to get onto it. If you watch a video on how to use it, how to set it up, you'll start to understand it.
You shouldn't design a product that I have to watch a video to use.
Yeah, the definitions are horrible. So essentially, the in-market stuff is transactional, essentially. People that, it's almost, think of it like Amazon. People who bought this product also bought this product kind of thing, right?
Okay.
Whereas the affinity stuff is more like people who searched for this product also searched for this, right? And because I know a lot of times they look the same because that demographic information tends to also stack up beside each other, right? But yeah, that if you look at those two reports of Google Analytics, that's the difference between the two. And they look very much the same to a degree. But one's more of a transactional and one's more of a search history kind of thing. But yeah, they're really good for, educating your social teams as the kind of things they want to be talking about. It's good for, working with your content developers, the things they want to be writing about. I mean, they're both handy for that kind of stuff. And silence hit the room.
Yeah, I'm looking at one in news weather, like You know, the people who search for your product also search for news and weather.
Well, duh.
What a coinkydink.
Yeah.
Film at
Some of these
11.
don't make sense to me. So I guess you're starting to look at the real fine details in this, because a lot of this is so totally unrelated. It's meaningless in the affinity categories.
I think it can help you dial in the personas you're going after a little bit, but I haven't been able to justify spending a lot of time on it from that regard. Yeah, I think most of us, we know who the target is.
Yeah, but sure, like you know, Doc, you worked with me on the safes thing, right? So let's think about it this way, guys. That you know, one of the things that Doc and I saw were coming up in these demographic areas was travel, right? So not only are Doc and I sitting there thinking about, okay, you know, let's have the social team talk about travel or this and that. One of the things Doc came up with right away was when you travel with your jewelry, check out your hotel to see what they're, you know, do they have a safe in that hotel where you can store that jewelry and things of that nature. You know, Doc came up with those kind of ideas for content and things like that, right? So that's how you can leverage that, because you're already, you know, they're looking at safes. They obviously have jewelry. They also have these, you know, Rolexes and whatever. So Doc starts getting his wheels turning, and he's like, well, Dave, you know, we could write a post about when you go to a hotel, do they have the safes and the security to keep your jewelry safe, because these people own it, they might take it with them, you know what I mean? And I think that's where you kind of start to use that sort of you know, demographic information to churn some new ideas out, you know.
That is interesting,
right? So, you know, again, it's like Google Trends or anything else. It's just giving you ideas to start having, you know, your meetings with your content or social people to start brainstorming some stuff, but at least it gives you more of a finite idea of what other kind of purchases they make or transactional things they do, and what kind of other things do they search for when they're out in the web, right? It gives you just that little bit of more data you can go and play with. It's a little more tailored to your demographic than, you know, say Google Trends or something. Wow, is everyone just staring at their analytics now? That's it.
Yes.
There we go. Mission accomplished. Drop the mic. I'm out of here.
I'm waiting for Rob to come back.
Yeah, well.
I want to see this butt plug he won.
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay. So I just identified one.
Right.
So the people, my client sells those big ass dust collectors that go on the side of the factories. And so they're also looking at employment. So I assume they're the same people who are looking for
jobs in that industry.
Casual employment,
right,
for the plant.
You know, so you could, Doc, you can run with that one, but I'd start thinking about, you know, just to bring eyeballs around, you could start, you know, talking about employment elements as far as, you know, from the business side of it. Like look at, you know, what some of your suppliers and the issues they might have employment. Look, because I don't think you really want people coming in that don't have a job. So
no,
you know.
no, they'll be the same guys who are responsible for hiring contract labor for the
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's who I would go after, is how to handle contract labor, how to handle part-timers, because an awful lot of plants that use dust collectors, because there are health issues, because it's a dirty job, they prefer to use part-timers, because they don't have to worry about the insurance. They don't have to worry about the training is not a big deal. You can train anybody in 15 minutes how to clean a dust collector. So it's, you know, attracting or providing attractive content of interest to those managers and supervisors who have to hire those folks would probably be a good inroad.
And on the Google side of things, expertise and authority, you can show some of that through articles of that nature, right?
Yep.
And the highest age demographic is 45 to 54. So you figure those people are probably
mid-managers.
middle managers. Yeah.
Right. And so like this stuff falls into like, again, back to data studio. I have demographic reports that everything from like the devices being used to the affinity and in category markets to, age and demographic. Like I have a whole demographic report built that you would have to go to 5 different reports in analytics, whereas my client comes in there, boom, it's all in one report, right? 1 page of a report, because I have like a 7-page report that we go through every month. But yeah, I have a whole demographic report that's pulling all this kind of stuff from various places in analytics that you don't have to sit there. Hold on while I click this. Hold on while I click that. I just sit down with my client, say, okay, now we're going to move on to page 3, which is demographic, and blah, 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 blah. And even the conversion stuff's in there as well, right?
Interesting.
Okay, I see Rob is back. So by popular demand, Rob, how about sharing this fancy crystal butt plug you got?
Yeah, literally, Rob, he's been sitting here waiting to hear about this butt plug for a while.
No,
so I don't know if we're supposed to take something from that, but you know,
you're always supposed to take something from a butt plug. Let's be honest, but yeah, it's literally a butt plug. There you go.
Where do you put the battery?
It's Rob's award. It's Rob's award. Hold on. We're very proud of you, buddy.
There you go.
I have 0 awards, but there you go. Yeah, Rob got an award.
But you put the batteries in the bottom, then I guess.
Yeah, you put a lot of things in the bottom, Doc. But yeah, it's a good award, man. I really enjoyed it. It was fun.
Congratulations, by the way.
Congrats, man. That's
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Tough competition there too. That's a pretty big.
Yeah, last time I won anything was back when they used to do the SEM awards, and I got Rant of the Year, and that's it. That's my only value.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Like, you do deserve that.
Well, hey, I was up against Grey Wolf and Ray Hoffman that year, so.
Oh yeah, then
come on, man.
It's even more impressive at that point. Then
that was it. Drop the mic, career over. I retire.
No, but it was good. I don't remember much from that night.
How productive was it for you though?
Good.
What we talked about before you went.
So I actually ended up, if half of the people I talked to end up closing, then I will double my business in the next 2 weeks.
Love it.
Love it.
Yeah,
it was a rocky road there, so I'm happy for you, buddy.
Yep, I appreciate it. Awesome, this is not water, by the way.
Yeah, never thought for a minute it was.
Mine is never just Coca-Cola. So.
And mine is empty, but I can fix that in a New York minute.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was good. It was good, and New York was fun as always. Smells like shit like always.
Just be happy you can get out of the house.
Oh yeah, dude. Plus, I got to try that the new fucking seats from JetBlue. Those things were fucking amazing.
I haven't more than 500 yards from my house in 15 years. So. So you missed all that, honey. Well, I'm sure you know from the chat rooms in the dojo, I have a panic anxiety disorder, but it also comes with a bit of issues. And so, yeah, when Jordan died, we all kind of got together talking about depression and different issues that everyone has. And yeah, that's the reason I've never been to a conference as many times as I've been asked is I have a massive panic anxiety disorder. So I don't really get far from my little space. It's just life, but it's actually how I got here though. When it first hit me, I actually owned a construction company with 5 crews on the road, and then that shut my life down. So then my wife was in web design, so I started looking around this web stuff, found SEO, and because I couldn't leave my house, I ended up finding this Bill Slawski guy and sitting around reading patents for 10 years, and here I am. Now I make a good living, like being a consultant and shit. And, sometimes
good
shit works
friends.
out. I make more money. I make more money now than I ever did, and I have a disorder and. People call them disabilities, but as I always say, some people are assholes, and I consider that.
One guy's disability is another guy's ability.
Yeah, it just worked out.
I like to say I love my crazy.
Yes.
I'm just sitting here reflecting on the fact that if I had work crews out as employees, I would have had anxiety disorders as well.
Yeah. No, mine was just
He's not
TBI.
wrong.
It's traumatic brain injury, dude. I just had one too many concussions between a couple of car accidents, and I was in martial arts for 26 years, and so I competed. I had schools. I was outside of my construction. I used to teach martial arts, so I've just been I'm punch drunk essentially. I mean, there's just I'm a lifer. There's no medication, nothing going to help me, so you just adapt.
There is medication. You have it in your hand.
Well, yeah. It's working just fine.
We're self-medicating as we speak. Okay.
And it should be noted that it's only 300 steps to the bar from Dave's house.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
I reach under my desk and.
But no, literally, unbeknownst to most people, every Friday when I do these shows or like Wednesday, I walk around doing that. I have to know about them 2 days ahead of time, so I start adapting my brain to being ready to go on the air and do all this stuff. I just fight through it, man. That's why I drink when I do these shows. Not because I'm an alcoholic. It's just because that's the only way I can do it. I mean, it's just, and it's uncontrollable. I play music. I can play music on stages. I'm not a shy guy. It's just, it's brain chemistry, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's just what it is.
I'm sure the smoke probably helps you more.
No, dude, no, I hardly smoke at all, actually. I'm not like
that's me.
No. When people like during all this stuff over Jordan, someone started an SEO buddies group, and I was in there, and people were talking about smoking dope and stuff. I'm like, no, that creates anxiety. That's not help it. No, I don't really. No, that does not help. No, that's just going to give me more anxiety. But no, I have when I say massive and literally massive. I have attacks that look like seizures. I end up on the floor, pissing, shitting myself, puking on myself on other occasions, shit like that. It's like bad, right? So,
well,
but you
stay home and stay safe.
You know? Well, you learn what your triggers are. You know, it's 20 years in for me. Like it's at first it was scary. Now it's just my life. But you just learn what your triggers are. You got to know what it is. I used to live in Toronto, a city of 4 million people, but every fire engine, every streetcar, all that noise couldn't take it. Just that's why I'm in a town of 2,500 because I can walk down the street and it's peaceful as fuck. You know what I mean? There's no triggers, there's no stimulus, right? So you just adapt, man. That's all you can do in life. I don't ever think, you know, that I'm less than anyone else or I don't give a shit. It's just I've always been open and honest about it. I don't care. It's just life. I'm still smarter than most motherfuckers. So.
True that.
And humble. And humble.
Yeah, very humble. Yeah, that's always talking. Yeah, my wife, she says that to me all the time. Yeah. I'm shy and humble. That's me. So yeah, you know, I mean, I've gone to some conferences, but it's always like over Skype and stuff. I've literally done that. Like people have had little things, and they put this. It was really cool. Like they put a big monitor in the middle of the room, and they had a camera pointing out to the room, so when people put their hands up with questions, I could answer them and stuff. And I've done them right here from home. You know,
it's awesome.
Yeah. I wouldn't even the airport, you know what I mean? Like just the airport with all the people and stuff, I'd be screwed.
You know, I have been thinking for some time now that webinars like that, interactive webinars, are likely to really take a controlling stance because the expense, I mean, there's a lot of value in PubCon besides the presentation. The networking alone is gold, but the expense keeps a lot of people away. And if you charge $30 to let somebody in versus $900, you're going to get an awful lot of $30 bills, you know?
We were at a point with technology. I was even thinking about that last 6 months or whatever, was like throwing together like a week of hangouts on different topics, PPC, local, this and that, like a couple times a day, and organize something like that you know, people could sign up and you know, almost have like a virtual conference, because, you know, we get questions on the event page on Google Plus, we get questions coming in from the YouTube page and so on and so on. And, you know, you could actually pull that off to a degree. You know what I mean? I think that'd be a fun thing to do. It's like a virtual conference with a lineup of stuff over 4 days and different experts and what have you. That'd be fun. You know?
And you could still have some local meetups for people that are in the area and are interested, and get a little bit of networking in. But yeah, I think that is, I have thought for about a year now that's where conferences are going to end up focusing is more on the virtual side.
Well, like, dude, like I'm 20 years in the business. The only people I've ever met in person are Jeff Quip, came out here one time, and obviously Terry's been out here for a couple of weekends and stuff. But that's it. It's only other than this, you know, this.
Well, and talk to some of the folks that have put these things on. You know, Brett Tabke could share with us how much he spends on a conference, you know, how much his out of pocket is after he gets these attendance sales in is tremendous. Okay, he's probably laying out 6 figures every time he puts on a show. So,
well, accessibility, like you're saying, like if you're in Israel, like our buddy in the dojo, or if you're in Britain or whatever, like, you know, I think my third person might actually end up being Grant. Turns out that Grant Simmons' wife has a cottage about 10 minutes from here.
Oh.
So, yeah, it turned that was weird, but yeah. So he might be coming up this summer, and if he does, he's going to come by and say hi. So.
Ah, great.
Be cool.
Yeah, I like Grant.
Yeah, I've never been to a conference, never met anybody, like I said, other than Terry.
And
it was so funny that, like, we're in Ontario, we don't get earthquakes. One of the 3 times that Terry was here, we had this earthquake. I thought it must have just been him walking down the road, but you know.
Yeah, I can see that some real benefits there. You can get folks from Australia and Israel and UK they don't have to lay out $6 or $7 grand for a 2-day conference. They can just spend the $30 and log
you still got the presentation and you still got the ability to take Q&A. You know what I mean? Like, what is so different? I don't think there's much different to it. So it's been an idea I've been toying with of putting together sort of a virtual conference. And again, it's not, it's like the Search Geek Speak, but playing a couple of sessions a day for a whole week. And
it's not a big deal. Yeah, not at all. It's a lot less work than putting on a real conference. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. And again, just like we always did with the dojo and stuff, you would get sponsors as opposed to charging to come in the door or something. We just get sponsors. Like, we'll pimp Majestic, we'll pimp Cognitive or whoever. And, let them pay for any kind of income that people are going to make. And most presenters, as we know, are doing it for the exposure anyways. It's not really about getting paid to go there. So, talk. I don't know. It's just something I've been playing with the last 6 months in my brain.
That's a great idea.
Are you thinking about having speakers? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you'd have a link building thing, right? And so you'd have because a lot of times at conferences you got a panel, so you might have 3 people, and they'd all give a little presentations. And again, you can screen share here with a slideshow and all that kind of stuff. You can bring a deck and everything else, just like you would at a conference, but you're just doing it virtually, So yeah, you'd have local SEO at 10 o'clock one day, and international SEO later that day, and then the next day you'd hit link building, and next day later that day content development, and so on and so on. Right?
How do you think the performance of all of the people in one over? I'm just thinking bandwidth. When you get more people, it would be performance would suffer. I think
not really, because that's handled. It's not like it's not my internet that's controlling that. So the more people you have doesn't matter. That's Google and taking care of that. So.
Wouldn't it just you're talking about doing like a bunch of webinars?
Essentially, right. Just like we do the Search Geek Speak.
A collection of webinars
but you just organize them all in 1 week.
Right? But I need a happy hour. There has to be some sort of network.
Everything's fucking happy hour for me. Well, that's fine. You guys can sit around and drink and talk after. But again, then you'd have that green room element, like come in and talk to people after, or meet up with people. Encourage that, like what I'm saying.
Oh, absolutely.
Like say, okay, fine. Who wants to meet up after the session to ask more in-depth questions or private questions that you'd approach a speaker afterwards because you didn't want to give away sensitive business information. So you'd have your green rooms and your things like that set up for that, right?
Yeah, you could have a basically a virtual hospitality suite for vendors,
totally
that sort of thing.
Totally
I've been playing with the idea too. It's just I haven't had the time and the inclination, but I think that there's definitely.
All right, well, I'll hit you up, man, because again, I've been playing with that idea for a while, and I just because of my situation, because I can never ever make it to a conference, it ain't gonna happen. So the only way I can think of around that has been this. That's the only idea I've got in my head to try and accomplish that.
For what it's
I'm on board. Let's do it.
Yeah, I would strongly recommend that you at least look at using Zoom.
Oh yeah.
No,
actually,
I'm open to the idea of different platforms. I really don't care. But
Maria's boyfriend actually works at Zoom. My analyst boyfriend works there.
Well, there you go. So we could offer them a sponsorship to help us, deal with the technology, right?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
And Zoom can handle a lot of volume. No sweat. They've got the hardware. They've got the system driving it.
Like I know people at Raven, Majestic, fucking SEMrush. I know everyone on every major tool, Screaming Frog, and everything else. Like literally, you could have a few of the sessions based upon those tools. How to get the most out of Majestic, how to get the most out of Screaming Frog, and bring some of those guys on and let people come and ask. Okay, one thing that always invariably has happened anytime we've had any of those guys on, right, is that they have features that no one really ever knew about. Because, as much as you want to put out there, like on their blogs and stuff, we still, like, we'd have, guy from Majestic on, what's his name? Holy shit.
Dixon.
Dixon Ward, thank you.
Yeah,
And
Dixon drops little eggs on us. Yeah.
Dude, all the time. Like we used to have him on since the podcast days before we went into video. And regardless, every time he's on, he'd mention some sort of report. We'd all be like, what? Didn't know that existed. It was like, holy shit. And Raven was the same way and whatever. You know, you could literally get, you know, Anton in from SEM Rush and have them give little nuggets of their tools that nobody really understands or knows about. I mean, and that's gold. You know, it always has been for us. So like you could pepper those in each day. You know, as opposed to just the general topics, you could bring tool guys in that are popular tools and have them drop some nuggets on people that they didn't know. So they'd be happy to do it. It obviously wouldn't take much to get them in because I've always done their shit. So, you know.
One of the tools that I used for our project recently was Lifter LMS. And one of the things that they do is they offer weekly office hours, which is basically kind of like a mastermind or a meetup or something using Zoom. And it's really, really helpful and powerful.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But in this situation, we could promote it so heavily and we have such a reach between the people we have in the dojo community, between here in the Facebook group and elsewhere. I mean, we could get a fair bit of reach, you know, so. And again, I could care less about making money with it. I just want to enable it. I've always been about that. I'm more about enabling, you know, networking in our industry than I'm about, you know, making my own money from a certain situation. You know?
For me, that's the main benefit to going to conferences. And the only ones I go to anymore are the ones that are in San Diego or, you know, basically next door.
Well, look at you, Doc. You know what I mean? Like Dan Tees had an issue and he reached out. Before you know it, you had 2 Facebook people that actually were able to help Dan with his problem on Facebook with his app and stuff within what, a couple hours?
No,
he had that sorted. You know, like that's networking at its finest, right? So.
Yep. In fact, there was a situation yesterday that came up, and I can't remember now who it was, but somebody needed a hand with something, and they. It
was Dan Tees. That was that one yesterday with Dan Tees. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's right. That was okay.
Yeah, you know, that's exactly because I saw you comment.
It was sweet.
I remember your first comment was, "There's the power of networking," and I was like, "Doug." No, but no, literally, Dan Tees went out, and before he knew it, he had 2 Facebook employees on it. And they went back to the dev team. The dev team came back with a response, and within a couple hours, you know,
yeah.
And Dan was like, "This is not a days thing, folks. This isn't a month. I got like a day or 2 to figure this out, or people might lose their jobs." And within a couple hours, Dan Tees managed to get between the people he knew on his friends list, had people from Facebook on it, and talking to the dev team, and thing got sorted. You know, that's what I'm all about. You know, is that kind of networking, that kind of ability we have between us to get shit done. So, you know, that's always what I like. That's always what the dojo is. I never care about making too much money. It's just trying to cover a little time here and there. You know? Just like Bill. That's why he has AdSense on his blog. Yeah, Bill's been helping people forever and doesn't get paid for that. So I'm with that. My world. Well, on that note, I have to go check in with the missus next door. She's babysitting an 83-year-old.
Oh.
How is Terry?
Oh, you win a prize.
I mean, speaking of which, hold on. Let me just take this off the air.
Cruel but fair.